In the book, The Biology of Belief, Dr. Bruce Lipton discusses how the development of our brainwaves, especially during the first few years of life, has a profound impact on our behaviors, beliefs, and patterns as adults. According to Lipton, our brain is highly impressionable during the early years, and brainwave patterns we experience can shape the subconscious programming that influences our choices and actions later in life. Here's a breakdown of the different brainwave states in the first 12 years of life and how they are tied to the development of belief systems and behaviors. So we have the delta, theta, alpha, and beta brainwave states. So firstly, we have delta waves. So these go from 0.5 to 4 hertz. And these are the dominant brainwaves from birth to about 2 years old. They're the slowest brainwaves, often associated with deep sleep and unconscious states. In infants and young children, the brain is primarily operating in this state. During this stage, children are in a state of deep unconscious absorption. The brain is highly receptive to environmental input, and the neural pathways are rapidly forming. This is when the foundational beliefs about the world, relationships, and safety are formed. It's a time of learning that happens primarily through the environment rather than logical thought or reasoning. The deep programming that takes place in the delta state shapes the core beliefs and emotional responses we carry into adulthood. Unresolved traumas or positive experiences during this time can significantly influence adult behavior, often without conscious awareness. For example, feelings of safety or insecurity that stem from early childhood experiences can influence how a person reacts to stress or relationships later in life. Next, we have theta waves. So these go from 4 to 8 hertz. Theta waves are active from 2 to 7 years old and are associated with deep relaxation, light sleep, and a highly creative or receptive state. During this phase, children are still in a deeply suggestible state where their subconscious mind is forming the majority of its programming. Children in the theta state are highly impressionable and often absorb information and behaviors without critical filtering. They're not yet capable of logical reasoning and tend to learn by mimicking the behaviors and beliefs of the adults around them. This period is when children learn language, social norms, and belief systems, largely from their caregivers and the culture around them. Because children in the theta state are like sponges, they tend to internalize everything they observe, whether positive or negative. Negative experiences like trauma or neglect can become deeply ingrained in the subconscious mind and may later manifest in the form of limiting beliefs, fears, or irrational behaviors in adulthood. Conversely, positive role models and nurturing environments can foster strong self-esteem and healthy social patterns. Next, we've got alpha waves, which go from 8 to 12 hertz, and these activate from the ages of 7 to 12 and are associated with relaxed wakefulness, calm focus, and creativity. By this age, the child's brain begins to develop more mature cognitive functions and can engage in critical thinking and problem solving, although they still rely heavily on their subconscious programming. The brain transitions from the theta state to the alpha state, allowing children to begin to evaluate and critically think about the world around them. They still tend to absorb information from their environment, but now they start to form a sense of identity and may begin to challenge or question beliefs and values. However, much of their foundational programming from earlier years remains deeply embedded in their subconscious. By the time we reach adulthood, many of the core beliefs and automatic behaviors formed in the theta and delta stages are still operating subconsciously. As adults, these beliefs influence how we perceive reality and interact with others. For example, if a child was repeatedly exposed to messages of inadequacy or fear during the first 7 years of life, those subconscious beliefs may continue to affect the person's self-worth and decision-making in adulthood, often leading them to self-sabotage or avoid opportunities. And finally, we have beta waves. So these go from 12 to 30 hertz. So beta waves are associated with active thought, problem solving, and high alertness. As the child matures into adolescence and adulthood, the brain typically spends more time in beta waves as it becomes more focused on external tasks and responsibilities. Beta waves are associated with the thinking state where logic and reasoning prevail. By adolescence, individuals are more capable of filtering and processing information with a conscious awareness of what's going on around them. However, by this time, much of their behavior is still driven by the subconscious patterns that were set earlier in life. In adulthood, when individuals are primarily in beta states, they may still be unaware of how deeply their past experiences, particularly from early childhood, are influencing their decisions. The habits, beliefs, and reactions that were programmed in the delta and theta stages continue to play a significant role in their behavior. Stress, anxiety, and emotional responses are often automatic and tied to these early programs rather than being a result of conscious, rational thought. So, how does this tie in to adult behavior? Well, Dr. Bruce Lipton's central thesis is that our genes do not determine our fate as much as we think. It's our environment and the beliefs we form early in life that shape us. The brainwave states described above, delta, theta, alpha, and beta, are critical periods when our subconscious mind is most open to environmental influences, and they play a significant role in the formation of beliefs, habits, and behaviors that will persist into adulthood. The subconscious mind is like a hard drive that stores all the information we take in, especially during the first few years of life. This programming influences our emotions, behaviors, and reactions long into adulthood. Negative beliefs formed during these early stages, such as beliefs of unworthiness or fear of failure, can become self-fulfilling prophecies that affect decision-making, relationships, and even physical health. The exciting part of Dr. Lipton's work is that he emphasizes the brain's ability to rewire, also known as neuroplasticity. Even though the foundational programming in early childhood can have lasting impacts, adults have the ability to change their beliefs and reprogram their subconscious minds through conscious effort, intention, and practices like mindfulness, meditation, affirmations, energy medicine, and positive visualization. So, in conclusion, Dr. Bruce Lipton argues that the first few years of life, when our brain is in predominantly delta and theta states, are crucial in forming the subconscious beliefs that drive our adult behavior. These early experiences shape how we perceive and react to the world, and they can remain with us throughout life unless we actively work to change them through practices that encourage conscious awareness and reprogramming of our beliefs. Thanks for watching this video, and you can find the full-length podcast episode here on this channel, or you can head over to Apple Podcast or Spotify, and don't forget to like this video.